Is the video working up there, or just a backup?
Yeah,
or-
everything's ready.
Okay. All righty. If you're ready, then I'll go ahead and let's get started, all right? Okay. I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission for the Village of Campton Hills, April 8th at the Village Hall. Could I have a roll call, please, Mr. Brown?
Sure. Commissioner Florario. Here. Commissioner McKelvey.
Absent.
Absent. Commissioner Teeth.
Absent.
Commissioner Anderson. Absent. Chairman Frederick.
Here.
Commissioner Johnson. Here. Commissioner Cope. Present.
Okay, we have a quorum. Item number 3, motion to approve the minutes of the Planning and Zoning Commission special meeting, February 11th, 2026. I only had one word change, but I mean, that otherwise is fine.
So moved.
I can give you, it's just changing the word from to for, and I can, well, I can point it out to you. Well, here, bottom of page 4 of the minutes. Go to the bottom of page 4, and where it says item number 7, motion to recommend, go up one sentence on a roll call, and then go up one more sentence. Commissioner Teat commended the applicant from for, all right? Otherwise, excellent job. Okay? Okay, so I have a motion to approve as amended. I have a second. Do I already have a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Item number 4, public comment. Does anybody wish to make public comment on items that are not on the agenda? I'm looking. Okay. And then item number 5 and 6 is a public hearing for, and a motion possible about the affordable housing plan. Is there anybody here who'd like to speak on the affordable housing plan? If not, I know we have people who would like to speak on item number 7, so I'd just like to put item 5 and 6 at the end of the agenda, and then move ahead with the people who are here and be cognizant of their time. All right, so we're going to skip over that, but we will add it to the end of the agenda. But item number 7, motion to recommend approval of the final plat of subdivision LaFox of Campton Hills. Can I get a motion, and we'll have some discussion? Okay, Mr. Lara motions, and do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Kopek seconds. All right, so perhaps it might be best if Mr. Patso from Shodine could actually summarize of what's going on here and help us understand before we continue our discussion.
Sure. So a couple items that you have in front of you that I've laid on the dais for each of you. The first one is, was also posted on the website, I believe it was a response to the H.R. Green, Village's engineer, so our engineer, Semcom, prepared a response letter to H.R. Green's review, and as part of that, there have that review and response, there's been some revisions to the plat, to the final plat. So I provided you with an 11 by 17 copy of that final plat. Maybe the old way with cut and paste of scissors and tape to try to understand what's going on, I have also laid on the desk another colored plan. In essence, I took several of the sheets and taped them together so you can see it in one picture. In essence, we are creating, there's currently approximately 25 parcels on the 960 acres. We are doing a couple things with this plat. We are consolidating parcels into lots and creating, in essence, 7 lots, which we, the way we do that, the formal title of that is called a final plat. So final plat, that word final may get confusing to some, thinking final is the last we will then be breaking down each of these lots, these larger lots, there are 7 lots now, into, we refer to them as neighborhoods, and they will further be broken down then into individual lots, streets, right-of-ways, easements, et cetera, that are focused on each one of these particular lots. So, however, the formal name of the document is a final plat. It would not surprise me that over 900 units, we will probably have in the range of 20-ish final plats. The PUD does allow for us to bring in multiple final plats. Technically, what you'll be seeing over the next many years is final plats really focus on just a portion of the 960 acres. So what I'd like to do is kind of walk you through this colored plan to further illustrate what those 7 lots are that we are creating. And I've got my little blow up here. So lot 1 is the orange area in the upper, generally the northeast quadrant. Sure. So in the northeast quadrant, north of the Mill Creek tributary area is what we are referring to as Lot 1. You may recall from the overall plan that that area generally is going to be open space, and that will become forest preserve and potentially some other owners of that. But in essence, we're doing one significant thing, and that is creating that as Lot 1, that's at some point that will be conveyed off as open space. Lot 2 is the area outlined in pink, and generally it is the area east of LaFox Road and north of the railroad tracks. So we know with right-of-ways and railroads crisscrossing throughout this property, that starts to break up the property into parcels. So that pink zone in LaFox Road, railroad tracks, waterway on the, call it on the northern edge of that lot 2. Lot 3 then goes from LaFox Road to the Bunker Road extension, which is in yellow, again, north of the railroad tracks, the railroad tracks, public right-of-ways, dividing the land in the north-south direction. And then lot 4 is the west of Bunker Road, north of the railroad tracks. Lot 5 is west of Bunker Road, south of the railroad tracks. Lot 6 is east of Bunker Road, west of LaFox Road. Lot 7 is east of LaFox Road, south of the railroad tracks, and north of Kessler. The plat has, this plat has been prepared by the surveyor for the project. It consumes all of the land that is part of the overall development. There's no segments being left out for any reason. We're not yet creating any buildable lot within this area, so we don't need to have right-of-ways granted yet. We don't need to have utility easements granted yet. When we come and are getting ready for the first residential or single-family home lot that we want to build on, we will be submitting final engineering and a final plat for those lots that we create. On that final plat will identify the easements for all the utilities, will identify additional right-of-ways that are, I would say, or are consistent with what the preliminary plan that you all have approved. So, not a lot here. It's more of a perfunctory exercise that the ordinance requires that we bring final plats, multiple final plats. They'll have to come before the plan commission. So this final plat is coming before you for approval. Is there any questions or anything else that you may have? I'll be here to try to
Yeah.
answer some questions.
Obviously, one of the concerns was there was no final engineering for this, and I understand why, because there's no lot lines in the parcels put out so far. So I would anticipate, and correct me if I'm wrong, that the numerous final plats to come, which I'm anticipating would be in phases, so you'll say, hey, this phase we're gonna open this area, or maybe this area and this area, and then we will provide a final plat along with final engineering for each of those respective sections. Would that be a fair statement? Okay,
Yes.
okay.
And it may be, as you indicated, let's say that this green area, maybe we take a portion of this green area, or maybe we take a portion of that green area and a portion of this yellow area in a final plat. It could be final plat number 1, 2, 3, 4, and different segments. So you hit it exactly.
Okay, is there any time restriction on those final plats, or is that part, any of the part of the PUD saying, hey, if I want this finalized, I have,
Technically, once a final plat is approved by the plan commission, the final plat then goes before the village board. That final plat, assuming it's approved, then the developer posts a letter of credit to put the infrastructure, the sewer, water, roads in on that plat. He posts a letter of credit on with the village. The village president will then sign the plat authorizing that that can be done. That plat then gets recorded. Once it's recorded,
and it's there?
It's
Yeah,
established.
yeah, okay.
So it really does not expire, and each one of those lots, that recorded document then goes to the county tax assessor assigns a PIN
PIN,
number,
yep.
property identification number to it, and then a tax bill associated with each one of those PIN numbers, assuming it's a taxable entity, i.e., let's say we create a green space or a park area, that will have a lot number, it will have it's included in the plat, will create a lot, and it will have a PIN, but it would not get taxed.
Right, it'd show as open space or some other classification for the assessor. Right, okay. And so we would, then, once that's signed, that whole process would be repeated, right, until,
I'm gonna time it.
we'd be anticipated that that process would be repeated for
Yes.
each section that is opened up.
Exactly.
Okay.
And you will be the first, besides staff hearing about final engineering and final plat coming before you, your job, I believe your job will be, okay, is that final plat consistent with the plan that you previously had approved, which is, in essence, that plan?
Yes, is it substantially?
Yeah.
Right.
Substantially.
Yes, right,
Exactly.
right,
Yes.
okay, all right, very good. Other questions? Yes, please, Jim.
Yeah, I got a question for Mr. Brown. Is H.R. Green either misinterpreting, or were they misdirected, or how did there become such a discrepancy in their analysis of the final plat versus the reality of where we are here tonight?
I can't really answer that, other than I talked to Scott Markor from HR Green, and he said, hey, we went through the subdivision code, and everything that says final plat, the final plat's supposed to have this, we marked up.
Right, so I
We
can kind
used the
of,
subdivision.
I can explain
Yeah.
also. So the purpose of this, let's call it an intermediate subdivision, is mainly because it's a required step in the TIF process. To become eligible for a TIF or a redevelopment project area over this property, because it's being actively farmed, there has to have been a subdivision prior to the establishment of the TIF. So this is it's more of a ministerial step that has to be handled in between the preliminary PUD approval that was before you initially, and then final approval of the actual final plat of subdivision for each individual phase. So, and Jim is absolutely right. Under both the village code standards with regard to review of plats of subdivision, and in the Plat Act, there's really only one standard that the village engineer can review it as, and that is a final plat. There's no technical term for an intermediate plat. It's a preliminary plat and a final plat. So in an abundance of caution, HR Green reviewed it as a final plat with the understanding that the majority of these items that you see addressed by SEMCON are going to show up again,
Yeah.
or be part of the review on the final plat of subdivision, showing the individual lots and the phases, and then will be addressed at that time if they actually are an issue at that time. Most of them, it's unlikely that they will be. The developer understands that he's going to have to show easements and ingress egress into, other state roads and county roads and things like that. So
Yeah.
those are not shown here. This plat does not advance any development rights or provide any development entitlements. The county's certification on the plat it says the same thing, that they will accept it, assuming that the village does, based on the limited purpose of what it's being used for.
Mhm. Okay.
I just might add to that, I should have mentioned that HR Green commented that the state and
Okay.
county need to review. We have taken that on our own and when sending it through the village to the county, so the county has reviewed the plat, and you'll see in the revised plat that the county asked for a statement to be added to the plat, and that statement reflects access, that they understand that there's going to be further plats coming that will identify that where access can and
Okay.
cannot be. So,
Okay.
it is, and IDOT as well, they are reviewing this plat, and if they have comments that they would like us to correct or add to the plat, that will be done before IDOT signs the plat.
And does IDOT really have any input, because we really don't,
Technically, by the state law, that any property that abuts state right-of-way.
State right-of-way.
State right-of-way, which is about 38.
okay, okay,
Our
okay,
open space,
all right,
they have a right to review the plat.
okay,
Typically, their review is based on access to their, to and from the right-of-way onto the property. When they get this plat and they see that there's 400 acres with no roads being dedicated and no lots being prepared, they're, to
Yeah.
me, a very simple or easy plat for them to review and comment on.
Yeah.
What they also, as being in the transportation, let's assume that there was an access point, a neighborhood that was accessing, and we needed a left turn lane or decel lane or XL lane, they would then look for the additional right-of-way of that state route being dedicated on that plat. But since we don't have any access points where there's significant amount of traffic going on, obviously, they're not looking for any additional right-of-way taken at this time.
okay.
So then where the village engineer certificate is on this document, they had an exception paragraph that they want to see included. Have they agreed to sign off without that then?
No, Jim, so are you pointing to the copy I laid on your desk?
Yes.
So that statement that is now on that plat is the statement that HR Green has asked for, as HR Green, as
Yeah.
the village engineer,
Yeah.
has asked to be added to the plat, has been added to the revised one. It's
Okay,
not on
so is it on that sheet?
Well, where would it be located? Would it be,
let me see.
It's the middle of the page on the bottom, the last village engineer certificate.
It's not on page 6 of 7. It is on,
Isn't it
it's where all the signature blocks are, right?
signature block? Oh,
no, it is not.
Okay, not there, okay.
Okay, if you go to sheet 2 of 7,
2. Okay,
so you'll see there's, that is the state, under the village engineers certificate.
okay,
okay,
That statement is the statement that HR Green has asked for, and when
Okay.
you have that page open, you'll see to the right of it, Kane County has asked for a statement block.
Yeah.
That has been added.
Okay.
On the final, sheet 6 of 7,
yeah,
we already have signatures
Yeah.
that are on sheet 6 of 7 by other entities.
okay,
So the title blocks that you see for village engineer on that will be crossed off
And-
and they're on the edge.
Okay, just want to make sure
Yeah, yeah,
that
no, no,
we've
good point.
got all the X's and O's covered.
Trying to keep it all, straight.
Yeah, okay,
Okay,
good point. Yeah.
There is,
Jerry?
there isn't an actual designation of your lots, is there, I know what they gave us, but I mean, there's not like, it's not like a recording that this is lot one and this is lot seven.
It will be.
Oh, it will be?
Once this is fully signed by Plan Commission Chairman, the
Okay.
Secretary, Village Board has to review this and approve it. We have to get the county engineer, the state engineer, the county clerk, the county recorder. I think that might be it. Once they're all signed it, then it gets recorded at the county. Once it's recorded, this orange block will be known as Lot 1.
Right.
And so, again, a very simple legal.
No, I was just sort of
description.
curious with in general, with the lots, if then that also meant that all those parcels become one parcel
Correct, yes.
for it, yeah.
Everything that's in Lot 1.
Yeah, so it'll have its own PIN number.
Correct.
So there's 7 PIN numbers is what
There
will
will
happen.
be once that gets
Yeah,
recorded.
Gotcha.
However, the PUD allows for Lot 1 to be further subdivided.
Right.
Or Lot
Right.
2 to be further
Right.
subdivided.
yeah.
And so we'll keep chopping it up into smaller and
Right.
smaller pieces.
And then I was curious, it appears the creek bottom, the south side of it would actually be part of the development, or is the Forest Preserve going to have that south bank?
So, one of the details that maybe I can touch base on, in essence, with the squiggly creek, you get a squiggly line of the floodplain line. We generally have, what the Forest Preserve has said, take the northerly floodplain line, and north of it will be land purchased by the Forest Preserve. You take the line south of the creek, that is the floodplain line, you have all that.
Corridor.
this is Floodplain. That is land that Chodine is going to donate to the Forest Preserve, that the
Okay.
Forest Preserve will not be purchasing.
Right.
So, again, that eventually will be another lot.
Well, that way you don't have the headache of having to try to determine if a homeowners association is maintaining the edge of the creek.
Exactly. So they're, technically, we're using trying to use the floodplain
Right.
lines. It makes it easy on this plat, when we call that Lot 1. If you see this lengthy legal description, part of that is because of this line that
Right.
goes like
Right.
this. And once this gets recorded, it will help a lot, many of us, in the documents we work on, to
Right.
get rid of all of that language that we have to keep carrying forward in so many different documents.
Right.
We can refer to that as Lot 1.
Yeah.
And when we look at Lot 1, we'll have that, I'll call it the squiggly line.
Is that the 100-year floodplain line,
It's not,
or is it,
it is the 100-year floodplain line, but because the 100-year floodplain line was
Yeah.
in that,
yeah,
we were trying to draw chords.
okay,
So you could get some versus this curve into that curve. into
yeah,
that curve.
right,
So,
okay.
I
It's
don't-
generally follows the 100,
Generally, that's a great way to put it. I
okay,
didn't want, I come back later on, he said, Dave, you told me
yeah,
it's,
yeah,
it is the flood. No,
Yeah.
It's not, but it's generally.
yeah, okay, I see that. It's not a channel like a canal or, or a ditch, you know, like a virtual ditch or something like that, yeah, okay.
And you gotta date that because it meanders.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It moves.
Yeah.
It does, yeah. All right. All right, other
Okay.
questions, concerns? I don't think I have any more. I think the color helps visualize it, so thank you. I think that makes it a lot clearer for me to understand what's going on.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. I thought it was a little silly coloring and cutting the old-fashioned way, but I couldn't even do it on a computer slide. I don't know how to do stuff.
Yeah, so it just makes it
Yeah.
It just so the terminology gets confused when we say this is a lot, and you think about, well, it's a lot, you're gonna build on a lot or something, but this is really it's a master lot, you know.
You could just build 7 houses, couldn't you?
Theoretically,
Not on the open space.
All we do is have to convince the Ryans, that's all.
okay, all right. Any other questions or comments? Concerns? Okay, pretty straightforward to me, then. So do we have a motion to recommend approval of the final plat of subdivision of Lepoxic Campton Hills as presented?
Yeah, we had a motion
Yeah,
earlier.
I'm sorry, so we've had the discussion, I'm sorry, so now, shall we? Take a voice, take a vote,
Do you
let's take a
wanna
vote.
make any sort of additional thing that just states the first of several final plats or anything?
You know,
Or the final plat for the creation of the 7 lots?
Right, so
would be
the-
what we're approving tonight.
That's a good point, I mean, what we're approving is like the final plat for the creation of the 7 major lots.
Yeah, and I think what I plan to do for the village board when this appears before them is to, we'll include draft minutes and just a brief statement that indicates that, who was here and what was discussed, but that it's recognized that this plat does not advance development rights such as is indicated on the engineer certificate. And the ordinance will be very general in nature that approves this plat of subdivision. It will say a statement to that effect, that this is, an intermediate step, and there's an anticipation that there will be further plats of subdivision that will be approved. So that'll be very clear for the board. And I did give an update last night at the village board meeting that this meeting was occurring tonight, and let all the board members know that the reason for this intermediate subdivision, so they understood what the purpose was, so.
Okay. Let's have a roll call for this, for approval, all right?
Sure.
Please.
Commissioner Lorario?
Here, I, what would you like here?
Yeah.
Whatever you
Yes,
prefer.
aye.
Well, aye.
Yeah, so this is the motion is to approve, or to recommend to approve.
Well, did we have this motion already?
We had the motion.
We haven't
Roll call
voted
vote.
on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a vote to recommend the approval to the corporate authorities.
Aye.
All right, Commissioner Kopeck,
Aye.
Commissioner Johnson,
Aye.
Chairman Frederick.
Yes. All right, the motion to recommend approval passes. And we're all set, so yeah. Grab your stuff and.
And if I can just remind you that planning commission should make a consent to
Sign that.
sign the plat.
All right,
Yeah.
Pick it up at Sunset tomorrow.
okay,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
all right, all right, thank you. Okay, how about we go back to the item number 5 and item 6, so we'll start with 5, the public hearing for the affordable housing plan. So I'd like a motion to open the public hearing for the affordable housing plan.
So moved.
I have, Mr. Kopeck has made the
Second.
motion, I second Ms. Johnson. Let's take it's a public hearing, even though there's no public, can we just take a roll call, please?
Oh, you want me to do roll
Yeah,
call?
for the public hearing.
Okay, sure. Commissioner Lorario?
Here.
Commissioner Kopeck?
Aye.
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson?
Aye.
Commissioner Frederick?
Yes,
Chairman
okay.
Frederick, yeah.
So the public hearing is open, and seeing that there's nobody here to make comments, there's no need to swear anybody in, so we'll forego with that. Looks like, Jim, let me ask one question before you start, is that I know we already sent this
Yeah.
to the village board. So. what
Yeah, and it
changed?
was the attorney who made me aware that we should have a public hearing. I think that was an amendment to the original act. I don't recall that being in there in 2005 when I was working more intimately with this act, and I cut and pasted from the Affordable Housing Plan Act right there, and indeed it is there, so we do have to have a public hearing.
Okay, well, that's good.
And I
So-
will also note that it went to the village board. They generally agreed with everything with the exception of some changes to the designated areas for, target areas for
Right.
affordable housing.
Okay.
And I modified that in red. I struck out what had been forwarded to them and added their opinions, and then there was a map that one of the trustees had done. I modified it a little bit and attached it as an
Yeah.
exhibit. So between the text and the exhibit, that is their thoughts on areas that would be appropriate for affordable housing.
Okay.
Other than that, I don't think there's any other change.
So part of me thinks like, okay, so these suggestions came from the village board?
They did.
Okay. So we
Not
gotta
from-
recommend to the village board, because some of these things I don't agree with, but,
Yeah.
you know, so I'm like, are we gonna recommend back to them, like, you know, so. First thing I'd like just to bring up is at the very beginning of where you, after you struck out, it says areas currently zoned F farming near the intersection of Anderson Road and Beath Road, and the area indicated on the map as Exhibit A. Well, those are kind of one and the same. So,
They are.
because, and then actually that, I mean, and I get it, it doesn't have to be exact, but that affordable housing area covers about a third of open space. You know?
I know.
You know, so I'm like, okay, I don't think we want to ever put something with a square around open space as a place for affordable housing. You know, so I might want to reword that to maybe to the southwest corner of Beath and Anderson.
Or I can just modify that square on the map.
Yeah, or you could modify the square on the map. And that would be another
Well, I
option. there.
certainly would exclude the housing that's already there, which is probably as close to potentially affordable as is, because you have two farmhouses there. You have the historic Beef House itself, and then you have the neighboring farmhouse, and then, of course, there's the ranch house that the three members of the Beef family each live in, each one of those. So it's already a neighborhood
Yeah.
in effect, so I don't know why that would be suggested, that little bit is any different than any other part of our village that's already developed as to be affordable housing. You know, I don't quite understand
Yeah,
that.
I know. A lot of stuff I don't really understand with a lot of the recommendations.
Well, I have a problem with many of these sections of roadways aren't in the village.
Yeah, which was my question, thank you for that, because I did have that question. Are they trying to include stuff within our 1.5-mile jurisdiction area? Jim, do you know?
I wasn't at the meeting.
Okay,
I
that's
don't
fine.
know.
So.
What happened was, they had a discussion, Carmen, if you were there, correct me, but they had a discussion, and there were a couple of trustees who wanted to develop their own lists of what they thought would be appropriate. And they forwarded those lists to me following the meeting. None of these items were discussed, to my knowledge, at a village board meeting. I mean, maybe they were, but the list that was generated came from trustee Burson, and then the map from trustee Boatner, and that came afterward. I don't know how deeply they got into a discussion of all these road segments or whatever. And I just took
Right.
it as it was forwarded to me in
Right, so
two
the-
emails.
The board went through the plan and got to this section that had the potential locations. And there was some discussion, but not a detailed
Not- I didn't
discussion.
see it.
And then they ended the discussion with, well, if you have any suggestions, send them to Mr. Brown or Administrator Rooney. They would be included in potential revisions to the plan when they came back to the PZC for further comment here. And then the board will review the final plan before it's approved via ordinance before then.
Yeah.
So with any comments that you make tonight.
Yeah.
I also wonder
Jared.
why it's targeting farmland almost exclusively.
I kind of,
You know?
yeah, I mean, except for like Lenz Road or something like that, but that was fairly, yeah, it was a lot of open area like that, I would agree,
That's all that's left.
yeah.
I know.
Well,
and
no,
that's-
but I think if you go back to kind of like one of the principles we had, I
Yeah.
think from this village standpoint, is that we're trying to preserve farmland, and we're trying to preserve those open spaces and things. Not that nodules can't be built, you know, did question the same thing about why
Yeah.
some of these things were, one, out of the village, and two, were pretty much like along, you know, really nice road, you know, winding roads with, streams on one side and a cornfield farm on the other side.
Right.
So,
And most of these locations don't
Aren't in the
really,
village.
aren't really suited for affordable housing because there's no transportation section, there's no core, there's no business associated with it, no schools, no transportation. So, I mean, if you just want to throw sections of roadway out there and let the powers in Springfield decide whether it's, you know, acceptable or not, to me, it makes no sense to identify these sections which aren't going to be developed
How
for,
many-
especially for affordable housing.
If, on all these sections that we have picked out, I was just looking at that,
We didn't pick these out.
that are, well, I said that
Yeah.
are picked.
Okay.
Yeah.
And let's take one section, what do you got, 47 in Silver Glen and Burlington Road, right?
Route 47 from Silver Glen to
So-
Burlington. Yeah.
What would be an example? Somebody help me out here. I'm gonna get to a point, and it's actually talk about what you just said. But what would be an example of that particular area? Let's say that was one of the areas we talk about, we decided. What would be an example of affordable housing to be built over there? What would it look like? Units? Is it like what they just did over on Randall Road? What is that over there where they built out those, it's all apartments? They look like beautiful townhouses, but they're actually apartments. Is that what it would be, or would it be actually,
I don't think
would
you
it
know.
be houses
Yeah.
like that were built, like in Harvest Hills on Peck Road?
So it can be a number of different things. It doesn't mean low-income housing. It typically doesn't, and a
I'm
lot.
not- That's
right.
not what I'm shooting for.
No, and so it's typically geared toward people who can live and work in the same place. People who are in service industries that, if you think of, you know,
No,
yeah, a lot-
I got what
you
you're
get
saying.
that? So if you think of like,
I got what you're saying.
perfect
So-
example is, you know, out west in ski resort towns
Sure.
is housing for people who work at the resorts,
I
because a
understand.
lot of them have to drive a few hours to get there. Also, senior living facilities, locations, smaller homes for folks who want to age in place
Yeah.
and move out of a larger home in the area too.
So would
But
it-
also smaller homes with lower.
Would it behoove us to then look at these locations, these options, and look at which ones would be the best one? Obviously, we have to do something, right? We have to submit this. Wouldn't it be to do something that might have some sort of businesses already around it and/or an opportunity for businesses to be built around it, to grow it?
Well,
I mean,
the real problem is you don't have infrastructure.
Exactly, which
in
has
any
been,
of these
which
places.
has
I don't
been,
think we have infrastructure in any of them,
Yeah.
right? But I
Yeah.
mean,
Right.
But at the same time.
which is throughout the document.
Right, it's still out there, and, right, and I understand, but what I'm saying is, but we still have to come up with a plan, right?
I mean, if I looked at this plan, I mean, the bottom four, I would just wipe off. I mean, I could almost wipe off the whole list and just kind of come up with something else. If you wanted to say Route 47 from Silver Glen to Burlington, I could probably see something in the future, that place might have the infrastructure at some point because of the major north-south artery, I could see some infrastructure there.
Right.
I mean, if you're just trying to look at that as a potential, I could see something like that. But the majority of the stuff, I'm just like,
But we have to do something, we have to come up with something.
Right,
Well-
I mean, it's
Well,
part.
we did, and
yeah, well, we can come back and just say, look, this is what we feel.
Yeah,
And this is
these
what
are-
we think, and I think that's what we should do. And say, you gave this list of suggestions, we think these
Right.
1, 2, 3, whatever items
yeah.
would be, and it doesn't mean it's gonna be happening now, or that's where we're going to put it, but it would be, you know, in the big scheme of things, if you look 20, 30, 40 years down the road, what could you put some housing there?
Right.
You know, I think that would be my way of looking at it.
Yeah. Is there, that one particular one with 47 being involved, is there other things going on with 47 that involve IDOT that, like?
47's gonna be a 4-lane
That's what I
road
was asking.
eventually.
That's what I was getting at.
Eventually, it's gonna be 4 lanes.
Wasn't there an attempt at one time or another to build some kind kind of a shopping center up near the school, by Lily Lake School there. There's Vistudo, was it Vistudo, one of the realtors that had bought property there, and then because of the whole Illinois 47 thing,
I just know that the major plan is like, you've got like, you know, Route 25, Route 31, Randall Road. You know, this is the way the transportation people at IDOT and what are looking at it all, that 47 is a major north-south road, and that is gonna be expanded. Now, does that mean that we have to put affordable housing or whatever through all up and down 47? No, not at all.
I mean, we could say, look, here's the opportunity for affordable housing in that as long as a well and a septic can go in, then, all right, it does not have to be a 5,000 square foot house. It maybe is restricted to only 1,500 square foot house. I mean, can you do something like that? That if this area were to develop, we're saying this is how it should develop if you have to have affordable housing. I mean, technically, you could even go to the extent of, I don't wanna say mobile homes, but like, you know, homes that are not real large, that are maybe modular and all.
Yeah, I think for this plan, we're just checking some boxes for the state. I mean, very few affordable housing plans get into that level of detail. I mean, more or less, it's like, we have to pick some areas, and that's, you know, we don't have to describe the type of buildings there. I
Well,
don't wanna get
certainly
into-
on the one hand, I understand that. On the other hand, it might just give fair warning that if you expect to invest in this property and you're expecting to make, you know, monster homes or expensive whatever's out of it, that's not the intent of, if this area is to develop, this is where we want to have this kind of affordable housing, that'll be based on, you know, square footage that doesn't, because I mean, you know, let's see, what is it, about $200 a square foot now to build a house?
yeah.
All right, so, and then for like one person earning $67,000, they're saying, what, $160,000 home they should be able to afford, which is basically the old rule of thumb, 2.5 times earnings to be able to buy and mortgage. You should buy a house or build a house more than that. So, okay, so you keep it in that framework. So you need an acre of ground, you need, for the well and your septic, and then you have, the house size can't be any larger than fitting that, whatever the current formula is per first square foot, so that a person earning X amount, 2.5 times, et cetera, at these lower levels could afford it. I mean, that, you know, would a formula like that scare everybody?
Well, I think it was overcomplicating it, first of all, in my
Yeah.
opinion. I mean, I like the thought process, but at the same time, I don't know if they can come up with a modular home that's very inexpensive that would,
Oh, I
you know, I just, you can't understand, or not understand, but you just can't predict the future. I know I can't. And so I wouldn't want to put those restrictions on the size of a house or whatever, because, I don't know, if you could build a house on an 1.25 acre lot that has a well and septic, and you want to build it for $100,000 and sell it for that, well then, there you go, you can do that. So I don't think we need to restrict that.
But that only leaves 60,000 for the house. So I mean, I
I
think,
don't,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
would-
think that that's the intention that they're looking at here with.
No.
I think they're just trying to identify areas. Let's start with the first four, A, B, C, and D.
Yeah.
In my gut, of keeping those in, my gut says get rid of the rest of them, okay? Let's just look at the first four and see if there's something that would be reasonable or could be modified. There's some areas. I think, you know, when you look at E, I agree with the staff comment, you know, anywhere near the train station, you know, is way, way too broad. And I think the bottoms are so far north and out of the district,
Yeah.
out of the village boundaries, I think that's why I would get rid of a
Yeah.
lot of those. But, you know, Route 47 from Silver Glen to Burlington, I could see that as a potential place that would have the facilities to, in the decade's future or whatever it is. And
I mean,
Burlington Road to 47 West would be somewhat similar.
I mean, those are falling within our planning area. So essentially, you know, we're gonna take advantage of it being in our planning area to either yay or nay it anyway. So I think those first four, I mean, as it stands, we're just giving examples, saying that we've given it some thought, and here are some potentials. And by the way, see the the last section of our response, saying there's no sewer, no infrastructure, no capital, no investors. So it's a moot point anyway.
But you're giving them something.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
just identifying potential
Yeah.
areas, and I
And we're
think,
probably scaring off the developers from buying farmland and doing it.
Do you want a motion on those four?
well, I'm just waiting for discussion. I'm ready for it, but I mean,
I would just truncate it at the first four and leave.
okay?
Yeah,
Jerry?
as long as you're recommending more than one location, I think that's helpful.
Yeah,
Yeah, not to the
Yeah.
village board, just like in general.
those
I think it's
those are
helpful.
general enough.
I'm in agreement with you,
Yeah.
and I'm in agreement in
Yeah.
that statement that you also made, and to add to it. So I would motion to go with the first four.
Okay,
Okay, I have a motion, we'll discuss it if we need, we have a motion to go with the first four, for simplicity, go with the first four, and delete the remaining recommendations as redlined in there. All right,
And the area on the map, Exhibit A. You want
Would
that area
be-
to cut out, trim the open space parcels out.
trim the open space parcels out,
Yeah.
So you still got that southeast corner of,
and then I would just make a small little square with a. with a
yeah, so I'll
cutout
still have an
corner.
Exhibit A.
You could just, it basically identifies that intersection.
And I would add, make sure when presented, we add a statement regarding infrastructure.
Re-emphasizing, yeah. When it goes to the village board, we
Well,
can just have that.
And the other
Yes,
thing,
Jerry?
the other thing is, I mean, your example of, okay, the Colorado ski lodges, et cetera. We really don't have anybody that works in the community. You know, we don't, so unless if you're talking about
My
people
daughter
who
works
might
in Cleveland.
help with. Yeah, yeah.
But I know what you're saying.
And Dawn works at home and
Yeah.
she's found affordable housing, obviously.
Yeah.
So,
subsidized.
subsidized, yeah, we got subsidized housing already.
Yeah.
And there's the culprit.
Okay, 84 units now.
I've known my wife that for 34 years. You have
But,
you have subsidized.
so yeah, I just wanna make sure not, targeting something here that, on the one hand, doesn't make much sense regardless. But, with the, the whole concept of if it's sort of based on that idea of people being able to live where they work, then it's limited then to probably just to people who, of the service industry who might be working on some of the properties around here, kind of thing. So that would be, I mean, up in Lake Forest, the problem was people couldn't live by the railroad tracks even. Those houses got too expensive for a lot of the people who actually worked on some of the estates up there, kind of thing. And so.
Yeah, but we're doing this with the idea that this could be what, 15, 20, 30, 20 years down the line?
Or more.
Well,
30, okay, well, 30 years from now, guess what? There may not be any need for any of this, because everybody's gonna be doing something that involves AI anyway, or,
right,
right,
right.
so, but, or it could be the opposite. Something could develop within a 10-mile radius or 5-mile push towards Canton, that could bring some of these people.
So if we just look at a couple sentences above in black, it says, "The following areas are identified as potentially appropriate lands for affordable housing."
That's it.
So that's what we're doing. So it's potential, So it's just, okay, this is potential. We're not saying we are zoning this,
Sure,
and
no,
we're
no,
not saying
no,
like
right.
that,
I agree,
so.
but that my motion would follow on that particular line that you just read.
Okay.
Okay.
So I do have one motion. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
So I have a second by Mr. Kopeck. Okay. So, but still, any further discussion or comments about this? So right now, the motion is the first four items, A, B, C, and D, and we delete, just for clarification, just delete the other items.
Yeah.
Would be our recommendation to the village board.
Yes, sir.
And the map would be trimmed, the Exhibit A would be trimmed.
Yeah.
And we would remind them of the reason of lack of infrastructure for a lot of these other places that would not be reasonable as
No,
identified.
right, absolutely.
And that's actually in the report already, too.
Yes.
There's a- Yeah,
Yeah,
so
okay.
there's a plan. Yeah.
Okay.
we have,
I don't wanna rush you, Jerry, but are you thinking about, you okay, or you're still,
Oh, I think, on the one hand, I'd just sort of like to dissent simply because it seems so weird, I guess, is what it comes down to. It's sort of like saying, well, why can't we have a military base there too? Why don't, why can't we have these things, It's sort of like, kind of like pie in the sky planning. I understand the intent, but unless if the state's willing to put up some money to help subsidize
well, it's
creating
gonna have to,
affordable
it's
housing,
gonna have to.
and then it's almost like we need to invite the state or the feds to help us out.
I think,
They
it-
want us to come up with a viable plan.
I mean, if you put a
Yeah.
military base there and people are gonna be living on that base, you're gonna probably get affordable housing on that base.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, it
but
just like.
obviously, we are trying to comply
Right.
with what Illinois is asking
Well,
us to
and-
do.
And the only thing is, there is the recent movement on the part of the governors trying to find a way to create more affordable housing by maybe speeding up the zoning process, making zoning maybe less restrictive or more varied with any one community, things like this. And you still have the building costs regardless. Those costs aren't gonna go down on an open market without, something being subsidized. So that's where I'm trying to put this together with like sort of the current mindset that is coming out of the state on top of this in
I'm
itself.
more, we're going into that, and I'm actually still baffled at the fact that Illinois is worried about building more homes and more affordable homes when they've got about 70 to 100,000 people leaving the state. Like, well, who exactly are they building these for? Because I see these townhome apartment places going up where they're like little towns within themselves, more and more. So I don't know.
All right, so we've got a motion, I got a second for Mr. Kopak.
People have got
Um,
And you just need a simple majority, correct?
A simple majority is all we need.
Okay.
So let's just do a roll call for this one too.
Okay, Commissioner Lorario,
I,
Commissioner Kopeck,
Aye.
Commissioner Johnson.
I think I'll dissent on principle here.
No, right,
No.
okay. And then Chairman Frederick.
Yes. All right, motion carries. All right, thank you for your input, everyone, appreciate it.
And I like the idea of eliminating a fair number of those. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah,
It's more
yeah.
just like the overall thing.
Simplify it too, yeah.
If we really want to try to solve a problem or whatever, or come up with a viable plan, it's like,
Okay, so, let's see, just to make sure I've jumbled things around here, we have done the public hearing, so we passed this, the motion, the public hearing is closed then, since we've had the public hearing has been closed. We have done item number 6, we've done item number 7.
Excuse me,
Yes, yes, please.
we haven't voted on the actual housing plan.
Recommend to approval of the affordable housing plan.
We just had that vote.
Yeah.
No, that was the motion to strike these items.
I thought it was the motion to approve it as
Okay, I
amended.
maybe misunderstood, but,
Right.
If there's any doubt, we can just have another
Okay.
motion, if there's
Yeah,
any doubt.
the original motion was item
6,
Item 6. That was the original motion,
to approve, but then we edited.
but then we added some
Okay.
things. If you want to do it again, or if you
as
want to do it.
as long as we're all clear
Yeah.
that that motion wasn't just to edit.
No.
No,
Because
no.
we also
Right.
talked
Okay.
about fixing Exhibit A.
Right.
Right.
uh,
Yep.
And
Right.
copying that and stuff, so it,
Right.
all right,
I'm good.
okay, good, thank you. So item 7 is done, so item number 8, discussion, potential amendments to zoning ordinance of 2024, including and amending the PUD provisions. Before I get started, I just think about zoning ordinance, I thought of the zoning map, and I walked in, I saw the zoning map updated, and there's March of 2026, so that's fresh. I don't know where I saw it, is it on the village website? Is that?
The March 20, yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Okay, I must have looked at something different or something old.
For a while, they had both maps up, and I asked them to
Okay.
take the older one, because people look at the wrong ones all
Yeah,
the time.
right,
so
okay, good.
I think
All
they
right,
did.
I was looking at it today, because I was trying to figure out where some of these locations were, and I
Okay.
found it all, I think that's an old map.
Well, I'll have to,
No, but I think I was in the wrong website, so. All right, so potential, so Jim, do you want to just jump in on this, the potential amendment
yeah,
for the zoning
you
ordinance?
know, when we started the zoning ordinance, I was really reluctant to suggest a lot of changes to the document that the commissioners had worked on for several years and Camaris had been involved with. Having gone through the PUD process once now, and it was odd, when we were doing the zoning commission, that was, months before we had any idea of the St. Charles proposal and then Chodine coming along. And I was thinking, they'll never have a PUD in this village for 10 years. And, I was obviously wrong. So, having gone through the process once, some of those things that I had thought about and just said, this is good enough, the Camaros text was decent. I went back and looked at two zoning ordinances that I had done that are very, very similar. And I just went through that because those ordinances, one of those communities, we probably did 5, 6 PUDs a year. So it got a lot of use, and there was never any issue with the way things were laid out and explained. So most of the suggestions are coming from this other ordinance, and I went through and I just, was there a statement on relationship to the comp plan? I couldn't find that.
Okay.
I think first and foremost, we should clarify what we're approving when we approve a preliminary PUD. There was some confusion on that. A couple people called me and talked. They thought we were leaving the preliminary plat off of the motion, and we should have had a separate motion to that. And I think ultimately we did. I just caved in. Got tired of arguing with the people, but, preliminary plan includes the landscape plan, the engineering plan, the plat, the photometric plan. All those plans are your PUD plan. But that's not really expressed anywhere in our current ordinance. So I think just for the sake of clarity, I would add that. And most of these items really are just for clarity. And we don't need to discuss this tonight. If you are in basic agreement with this, then I can post for a hearing and, we can work on a text that can be reviewed at a public hearing May. All right, in May or June, if the May doesn't work out. But,
Well, I mean, before we see it or comment on it,
I'm sorry?
before we see it or comment on it? Or don't we usually do the draft before we put it to a public hearing?
I think, it's a one chapter. I only have 2 meetings left here, so I'd like to kind of wrap this up before I go. So, if you want to have one meeting where we discuss it and then we post for the public hearing in June, that's fine. But your wishes, I mean, it's,
I don't have a problem with that. I think that might be a good idea. So I see what you've done here, and you really are creating, like you say, clarity, or expanding something that there's more understanding or more clarity into what it actually
Yeah.
means.
Yeah, what is the meaning of final?
Yeah.
Yeah.
right, So
What,
I would agree with, so why don't we,
anything referenced?
if we could put this maybe together like,
Is it
in the
just
document
online?
for May,
Yeah, this is
Right.
the
and
last.
then we can have the public hearing and
last
everything in
couple
June,
pages
and
of-
then.
Yeah, that's fine,
That's-
if you want to do it that way.
that's-
Meeting
I think,
notice.
I think that would give people time to absorb it as well,
Yeah.
and, but it's not, I don't
Was
see it
that
controversial.
added on to, was that added on to one of the several different emails? Because I printed out everything from what I thought was the intact email.
No, it was
and
original,
such.
part of the agenda, it all came in the,
Yeah.
it's
It
all
was
in the
in the
agenda
packet,
packet. It's
yeah.
the very end of the agenda
The very
packet, it's
end,
page
yeah.
34, or
Yeah, it's the last.
it's the last five pages.
I'll bet you I stopped with the,
If you stop with all the big 5, 6 pages of,
something like that, because
of
I was
legal
breaking it up
descriptions,
so I could
all the
print
legal
something on
descriptions.
legal, and yeah, I'll bet you that's what I did.
all the legal descriptions, and after that, then there's a
Gotcha.
statement from the zoning officer about the text amendments. And so he's put them out there, and they're pretty straightforward. four pages, and really there's only like, not even, what, a dozen? 3, 4, 5, 6,
Yeah, and I said, there's
7,
really
8,
no
9, 10.
big procedural
11,
changes,
12.
it's just,
Yeah.
the intent was to maybe add a little clarity, more for the public, than anyone else, you
Right.
know, and when they can go through and they can see it.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that was there, because I'm just trying to,
Now we have to.
I got confused enough, like, wait a minute, this
Um,
email is saying this one's been updated, or what? You know, so I was focused on that versus anything beyond those big pages.
I think, you know, if you see it, I mean, maybe if we see it in the document, and then have that in the document, we can review it, and then have the public hearing in June, and then that would be,
I mean, you know,
I think that'll be clear, and that won't be rushed, and, so I kind of
Yeah.
like, then plus it gets in the timeline before June 30th.
Yeah,
So, but thank you for doing that, and thank you for taking the
Yeah.
time to do that and improve it before you go.
I
So.
don't want a special meeting in June. Wait.
I really don't want to meet in June, but I'd rather not even meet in June.
I know, that's why I was trying to just combine, you know, to have it all.
Well, I will entertain it, I mean, it's up to you guys, I mean,
well,
I can see either way.
Well, you guys go ahead. This to me, if you couldn't get any clearer than this. I mean, this is
Yeah.
pretty basic and pretty clear. I'm good with it,
Okay,
honestly. So, it's up to you guys.
I guess I'd like to see it in the document.
First, yeah, okay,
Yes.
yeah, whatever, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
fine either way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know, like I said, it's another meeting, I don't know if we'll have any applications
Yeah.
between now and then, maybe we're gonna need a meeting in June anyway, so.
of course, I don't know if the other board members here will,
Yeah.
commission members.
We'll have
will-
another interim plat, just,
Final interim or is it interim
yeah,
final?
I know.
I mean, I could see, since it's only like 12 definitions, basically,
Yeah.
you know, expansions, I could see either way, and I'm amenable to either way, but I could see how if you just put that in a text format, because it's only that one chapter, right?
Oh, gee, it'll just be well, it will just be one section.
One section of that chapter.
Whatever
Yeah.
article.
Yeah, whatever article it is. So that section's all we really
I
need,
finally got it up.
and if we
if I
get
could read
that, if we get that ahead of time, you know,
There's a PA
we could still notice a public hearing,
Yeah,
and then we could still have, I mean, 2 weeks.
Right.
yeah.
You know, I mean, if you got this to us in 2 weeks,
Yeah, I'll try, I'll get it out earlier. I'll give
we-
it.
Yeah, I
We'd have-
mean,
we'd have 2
So
weeks
it's
to
just
review
these
it.
4 pages, and it's just the
Yeah.
red is the only addition?
there is no red, well, no, the red is not the addition, actually, the left column would be the addition on the following pages. So the left column is the
Oh,
suggested
okay.
change,
How about we do this? Post for the
Gotcha.
public hearing in May,
okay?
open the hearing, have discussion. Then we can close the hearing and continue with discussion to a following meeting if you
Yeah.
need it, or even continue the hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the following-
Yeah.
But
Excellent.
but if we wrap it up
Yeah.
in May, great,
That-
if we
that could
don't,
be-
then.
Yeah, that could be done, because
Yeah.
odds are there's not gonna be.
Right, and
that
if
much
you're comfortable in
discussion
May,
from the
then
public
we,
about it.
then
Start-
we vote to make a recommendation to the village board on the amendment. If not, then we continue the discussion and/or hearing until.
I like that idea.
He just thinks it's gonna get in the way of his going away party. Does he not know? Is he unaware?
All good, well, no, like I say, I appreciate the
leash
effort,
is not that long.
you know, for doing that, because you didn't have to do that, and I appreciate that. That just shows a lot of your character, and appreciate that, so, awesome, let's go with that, have the public hearing for the second Wednesday in May,
All right.
which is our normal scheduled time, right? And,
Those, okay, second Wednesday.
which would be the second Wednesday in May, we're just double checking, May 13th. And I got nothing on their schedule, so that's good, okay, all right. So let's do that, public hearing, and then just try to get us that section,
Yeah.
you know, sooner, and then,
Yeah.
and then that way, all the board members can see that, and then, like I say, we'll take it.
Yep.
We can either approve it
Yeah,
or
that'd be
postpone it,
fine.
so, okay, all right.
I apologize for that.
No, it's okay, there's been a lot of stuff going on, so. Okay, I think, let me go back to the agenda. Come on. Ah, this is like way too big. All right, there we go, I've got adjournment. Do I have a motion to, any other thing before we get a motion to adjourn? Anything else? Motion to adjourn?
So moved?
Mr. Gopek, second?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Not done enough motion.
That's what I know, I had to spread the wealth.
Second, whatever.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, okay, motion carries. Thank you for coming today, I'm glad we had a quorum. If you can't make it, I did not, I think Chris told me a while ago he wasn't gonna make it, but no one else.
And I knew Jim McKelvey was.
Okay, all right, just let,
In the meeting I missed, I think I sent email to Ed.
Okay, to Jim?
Jim,
Yeah. Yeah, but if you can,
wife's having,
we do
is
appreciate it.
having back issues and she's had surgery now and is in rehab in downtown, so it's been hectic trying to run the museum and take care of her and run down there.
How's she doing?
Well, she's
Thank you.
in a week of rehab since the surgery, so she's coming along pretty good, but it's gonna get two disc fused and a lumpectomy for stenosis.